Welcome back to another episode of the 1216 Podcast, Manga Edition. Please make sure that you guys are subbing. Make sure, please make sure that if you do like this content, because it goes a long way with us, that you hit the sub button, you hit the like button, you drop a comment down below, and let us know what your thoughts are below it, and of course, share with your friends and family and your loved ones, because we try to bring you the best content every time. Starting off, One Piece chapter 1102, The Life of starts off with a wonderful title, cover page of Bonnie having a hot dog eating contest with a bunch of wolves, and she's just eating before they even. But to get right into it, this chapter did make me cry a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Ichiro Oda, you are a goat for this. I don't know how I got so attached to Bonnie or and Kuma, but for some reason, I am very, very much attached to them now, and it shows because as we get this chapter, it's just a 12-year-old Bonnie. No, it's just Bonnie running around. It's her right before she turned 10 years old. She's running around, having the time of her life, making sure she's making a name for herself. She's becoming a great pirate. But no matter where she goes, of course, we know that Kuma watches on. And Kuma watches on to her just to make sure that she's okay, make sure she's not getting into too much trouble. And of course, being that father figure because his brain, because he still has all his memories. His brain has not been fully transformed into a robot yet, or a cyborg for that instance yet. At the same time, we have Bonnie making her name. We have Luffy making his name for himself after he beat Arlong. He beat Arlong Pirates. Everybody's making a big deal about it. He has his first 30 million berry bounty on his head. And of course, Smoker sees it, Dragon sees it, and the Revolutionary Army. Sabo, he doesn't know what's going on. He just sees that some kid is up on there. He doesn't realize it yet. And of course, Ace sees it. Ace is showing off to Jinbei, and they're just having the time of their life right now, celebrating for Luffy and his new berry bounty. You also see that Dragon heads to Log Town, and nobody knows why he's heading there until he asks why, who was the captain in charge at Log Town, and it's Smoker, which leads us to get the infamous hand on Smoker's shoulder when Smoker goes to try to attack Luffy in Log Town and cut his story short. We know why Dragon went there, to be a good father. Dragon and Kuma are basically doing the exact same thing except for their own children. And it's protecting them and watching them to let them grow into their own person. Bonnie, of course, is trying to make sure she does everything to make sure that her father knows who she is because she's not a little girl. She used her powers, of course, remember a few chapters ago, in order to look more mature and much older. She puts on a lipstick, two dots, and then a dot down below, and then drew something on her face because her sapphire scales would be recognizable to, of course, Kuma, even though Kuma knows exactly how she looks and who she is. And we see that Kuma, of course, is now in the new world at Egghead Island with Vegapunk and is telling Vegapunk everything. He's telling Vegapunk about Dragon having a son. He's telling Vegapunk everything that's the secrets because Vegapunk's going to already have that knowledge. Once he takes and extracts his brain, his memory cells, his memory bank from Kuma, he's going to have that knowledge, of course, already stored within him. And as we go through and he's telling him all the secrets, we get to the part where we have flashbacks, of course. The Ursha shock on Thriller Bark. The fact that he extracted all of Luffy's pain and gave it to Zoro. The fact that he went to Sabo Odi Archipelago and just knocked them all away because they're not strong enough and sent them on their own missions to get stronger. Everything comes back into play with Kuma. As Kuma is going around at the Sabo Odi Archipelago, right before he does what he has to do to send the Straw Hat members on their ship, he sees Bonnie eating pizza. He's still looking around after her. People, of course, are looking in at such a huge face that he has. They know who he is. Some people know who he is, but he just tries his best not to show Bonnie. He gets word that somebody's causing problems at the slave house, at the human house. So of course, like that, he goes there, and no wonder it's somebody who punched the celestial dragon. As he gets there, of course, we see that he looks in and says them again. Of course, Straw Hats are there. Sanji, Zoro, Hachi's there. Luffy, Usopp, Brook, the whole entire Straw Hat crew is there making a ruckus. And this is when they send in the pacifistas, the first PXs that we see, the PX1s that come inside there and try to stop them. And they all get surrounded. They're not strong enough. Rayleigh has to step in and stop the fight between um, Kizaru versus the Straw Hat Pirates and wiping them out. When, of course, we see that Kuma just pops up and Kuma just sends them all the way flying. Kuma does this, but that's his human side of him doing it. And because he did do that, he was ordered to make a self destruct mechanism for Kuma. Of course, Vegapunk does not want to do it. Vegapunk doesn't see a point inside of it. But Jay Garcia says something, gives him that order, and he says, erase his individuality completely. Make sure there's no trace of him remaining, and you won't be forgiven if you don't. Remember, I too am a man of science. Any attempts to deceive me will fail. And of course, that just goes to show that Jay Garcia is a man of science. He knows what's going to be inside there, knows what's right. Vegapunk has to stick to his guns with this one. And as Vegapunk is sitting down, finally with Kuma to finish it all off, Vegapunk speaks to him. During the conversation, it is one thing that is requested from Kuma. After Kuma did the job he did on Cyber Archipelago, sending the Straw Hats away to go sit there and do what they got to do to make sure that they can go train and become stronger, Kuma asks Vegapunk if he could do one last thing for him that could, once he loses memory, this would be something that he has installed inside of him. Because Luffy is acting in the same way that Nika acts. He's freeing people. He's revolutionary. He's revolting against world order and creating a more free and world where you want to live in. And Kuma looks on and he just says, "Please, I believe in him. I believe that Monkey D. Luffy has the will of Nika inside of him. And because of that, I want you to program me to go and save and protect the Straw Hat ship from destruction." And at that point, we all know what happened. Kuma sat there on by the ship until one person came back from the Straw Hat crew and protected it until the very end. This order, of course, comes as his final thing that he wants Vegapunk to do before using his own little powers, his powerful powers, to extract all of his memory and, of course, put it inside of a nice little bowl, a nice little science field that Vegapunk can react to. Because we all know that if it's touched, it'll pop, go from there. It's just the bubble that's inside there with his memories and everything done with. And we get a beautiful flashback. This is the part where you start crying of Kuma growing up. There's Kuma with his mother and father, meeting Ivankov, meeting Guinea, meeting Dragon and Revolutionaries. Of course, running back home to see Guinea, seeing the beautiful Bonney as she's born as a baby. And it's just him being so grateful and thankful for his life. And Vegapunk is listening to the stories and going out through it because now he knows that he has to turn off Kuma completely. And Kuma simply says thank you to Vegapunk as Vegapunk is crying, and he wants to remind him that your life hasn't caused any harm or trouble, but your death will bring pain to the ones who love you. He just tells Kuma that he's a hero and he's doing this for science, and pulls the switch down to finally erase all of Kuma's memories. And as he's the switch coming down, one last thing comes out. The final thing outside of protecting is the make sure that Vegapunk tells Bonnie happy 10th birthday when he sees her. And this was one of the chapters where I knew for a fact that One Piece is going there and it attacks all emotions, everything that somebody cares about. One Piece is doing perfect. Going through Kuma's entire backstory and Bonnie's backstory to see everything and making the connections that they have to Luffy and Dragon and the Straw Hats and the other pirates about the worst generation and just how this fruit became a fruit. It makes you think that Kuma is probably the best father figure all of anime history. I look on at this chapter and I just think, fuck, it's over. We get a self-destruct button added inside there. We know Kuma's going on a rage in Maruijuar right now. He had went back there after finding out things. I hope it's not the very end of him being a robot and he can somehow come back to normal when he gets around Gear 5 Luffy, aka Nika. Because we all know that the wish is for Bonnie to see Nika with Kuma. At the same time, having this flashback does give me a pit in my stomach because we know Bonnie is in the clutches of Jay Garcia right now. And she went up there, she stabbed him. Of course, Sanji tried to help out, but Jay Garcia, I hope this isn't the end. I hope this isn't the end of Bonnie. As somebody who she just started her career, she's not even 16, she's not even 13 yet, she's only 12. Really hope that she does get to see and complete her wish with Kuma and Gear 5 Luffy. Damn, dog, you ain't got to make this hit the heart. This hits home very hard. You are a genius, dog. But man, you didn't have to make this so difficult to read. Just looking through it, the animation when it comes out, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, I told y'all. But of course, we do have a break. We'll be back on New Year's, I believe. After New Year's. So stick around with us. Of course, you made it hit. You made it this far. At least leave a like button now. At least a like. It goes a long way. It makes the algorithms move around. Makes us get more attraction towards there. And this chapter is beautiful. Oda's a genius. I love One Piece. You should all start this soon. Get on your journey. Of course, happy holidays. 12 and the 1216 podcast channel.